So BTC is once again sitting at 95K, but today, guys, it's all about SOL. There is FUD all over the place with Solana. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to trade it? What is the next step? So if you're wondering what is going on with SOL, this is the show you need to be watching. We're also covering the ETH strength. We're looking at a couple of ETH things. And if we have time, we're hitting some AI agents, which look like they might be getting ready for some action. So we got so much to talk about here, guys. Let's get right into it. And remember, guys, as always, hit the like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. And today I've got my indicator man. Remember, on Mondays, I love to bring the indicator magician. Here he is. They're ready to go, bringing some indicator things for you guys. He's been well briefed on what we need to talk about today. So he's bringing some stuff. And then we've got James here. He's going to help us on some of the FTX things that are coming out. He's got a few comments on that as well. We might even talk about the gold situation that's going on in the US. Woo! Things are gonna get spicy. Okay, so we've got an action-packed show today, guys. I'm gonna jump through these things as fast and as concisely as possible for you guys, but there is so much news out there. We got to cover it all for you. Okay, so let's get right into this. Let's go. Crypto, banter bubbles. You can see Old Phantom, okay, is actually performing today. Not talking about that today, but it is 14% up. So that is nice to see. And then you'll see Dupe is down 8%. Other than SOL weakness, there's actually a bit of FUD on Dupe linked to this Libra situation. So I've got in a situation where I need to start cutting my Dupe position if this pain is going to continue. Then we can see Virtual is well down. That's an AI agent also taking some pain. Is it time for some of these AI agents to wake up? So we're covering all of these things, but let's just jump straight into what is going on with BTC and who's enjoying the current chop. Now, we said yesterday, anyone who caught the show yesterday evening, we were talking about the US markets being closed today. So that obviously gives an allowance for fun and games. And often we see false moves to the upside, to the downside when we get these types of situations. And I think it's fair to say today is no different. So we had a beautiful green morning in my time frame, beautiful green morning playing out. We saw ETH waking up. We saw Peppy. We had a banger Peppy trade this morning in Chart Hackers. And now we've had this major reversal here on BTC. And to say, look, simple TA can actually work. Look at this. We've got a descending trend. We pumped into a trend rejection zone as well, and BTC now massive sell wick there from those highs at 96,900. So that is going to be at some point, that is going to be a target for us that we are going to come back to. At some point we're going to come and clean out that wick, but for now, what do we do? How do we play this now? Because the move has happened so quickly, I'm concerned that some of my oscillators haven't had time to reset properly at the moment. We love to see a nice reset oscillator when we hit these hot zones. So for me, what am I watching right now on BTC? Well, you can see there's current weakness here. And for me, if we don't get a reversal in this region here, you can see we're looking for this this wick clean out in the zone. So anything at about 95K looks interesting for me. If we start losing this and start closing underneath, I would say the most realistic zone to visit is going to have to be this cluster. And that is anything from, say, 94,100 down to about 93,500. That is what I would look for if I were you looking at BTC. So be careful here. You can see super chop at the moment. And again, another situation. And I wonder how you guys are feeling out there, because we get a little bit of green. And what do? They just pull the rug from underneath us every single time we get a couple of green moments there. Look, Chaos is nodding. He's concurring with the pain. James, how are you feeling about that at the moment? Loving it, eh?
Love it.
Bit of up, bit of down. Bit of up, lots of down. Okay, it's rough. Guys, it's rough. It's absolutely rough out there. The Solana situation is not helping. Some of the news I'm going to show you is really not helping as well. It's causing a lot of pain. So let's, without messing around any longer, BTC, your support levels, you know what they are. At some point, we'll come back and visit that wick. But for right now, this is what you need to pay attention to on the downside. Now, let's see what is going on. There's so much happening out there at the moment. Adam, Mr. Pickle, he's in the house. Hello, sir. And he's around. I see PMG George is also around, feeling greed on fear, but let's be honest, feeling fat. Okay, guys, we got everything here for you guys. So this is what's happened now. We've got three presidents. Okay, we got the Argentinian guy. He's feeling the most rugged at the moment. Look at him. He's feeling a bit rough there. If you look at his picture, he's not happy. Then we got Trump, a little bit serious after launching his meme coin, and then we got the king. Okay, the king here on the right. What's his name? 𝗂𝗓𝗟𝗓𝗦. What's his name? But again, what's his name? Give me his name.
𝗂𝗓𝗟𝗓𝗦.
From Venezuela.
He's not a guitar. 𝗂𝗓𝗓𝗟𝗓𝗦.
Okay, well, you know what I'm talking about. He's the Bitcoin man. He invested in Bitcoin. Look at this guy. He's smiling. He's wearing his suit. He's looking good. He's got a bit relaxed there. He doesn't have his tie on. But I'd also be relaxed if my chart looked like this. So he's cooking at the moment. Trump, not so great. He's got the rug energy about him. And so does our captain of Argentina. Now, there's big news about this at the moment. We're going to look at this in depth. And here's a TLDR for what happened this week. Now, Deebs on DeFi has dropped this. It's quite an interesting read. But you can see there's a picture here as to what happens this week. We got some action in Africa with the meme coin. We got the broccoli dog at the bottom left. We got the Argentinian guy. We got the boobs from Near Protocol. Can you believe the boobs on the right-hand side pumped near 6%? Can you believe that? So if you want to read what happened this week, and there's actually was a live stream with the guy from Nia, but this was classic. We actually didn't cover it, but the guy was talking on a live stream showing his showing some information or whatever he was showing, some presentation, and then he started switching over to a few things, and pictures of what might have been his girlfriend or something came up with the boobs, and Nia literally pumped 6% on the boobs. Then we had Vitalik talking about communism, and ETH went up 5%. Then we had Broccoli the dog from CZ, absolute dog show. Then we had the president of the CAR, the Central African Republic, launches a token as well. I don't know, a little bit ruggy, that one too. And absolute mess here. And it finished with the Argentinian president, Javier Milei. He's launched his token under much stress, I would assume, for him. Now, we're going to get into that in a second. But one comment I just wanted to get from James. Now, this is a very big topic, and I think we need to cover it. I wasn't intending on covering the gold situation today because there's just too much content on Sol and Libra and ETH and all these things, but I thought we've got to cover this for you guys just so you know what is going on. But basically, I think Trump wants to audit Fort Knox. He wants to now audit the gold supply. Now, when last was the gold supply actually counted in Fort Knox? It's a very interesting question, and I wanted to just bring James up here because he's got a couple of tinfoil hat thoughts on this thing as well. James, is the gold there?
No. Now, I'm not saying none of it's there, but the amount that they have on the books is definitely not there. And there's all kinds of backstory to that. And this has been talked about since the 80s, that they needed to take a look at this, right? And it's been over 50 years since they've done a full audit. And everybody keeps saying Fort Knox. Well, all the gold isn't held in Fort Knox. That's just the common thing. It's actually held in multiple places around the country. But regardless, they're supposed to have approximately 5 tons of gold.
Multiple places. Okay.
Right. Yeah, my pocket. I wish.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the big problem, is that if they audit this, because you know how this started? It was with Zero Hedge put out something about gold needs to be audited. Elon Musk, he responded to it, said, what, that's not done yearly? He didn't know. So it got this Doge department taking a look at it, and it hasn't been confirmed they're going to audit it. But at this point, there's too much noise about it. I think they're going to have to.
I think there's too much at stake for the US to do an audit and find something missing. I think there's too much at stake there. Anyway, this is my opinion. This is not a political show. Okay, this is a crypto trading show. Guys, I'm just a thought. Okay, if it's not there, it's going to get spicy. Now, remember, the US left the gold standard, what, in the 70s? Okay?
1971.
Okay, and they left it for what reason? Because they wanted to print more money. They didn't want it back. Okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a temporary measure to help the economy to whatever else, and they just never came back.
Yeah, look, it's 50 years temporary. It's 50 years. Okay. Thank you, sir. We're going to move on. So there you go, guys. A little bit of spice coming potentially in the markets. Who knows what is going to happen there if that starts going down. Now, very importantly, yesterday I covered the Libra situation. If you caught the show yesterday on the main channel, you would have seen a little bit of information now on the Libra situation. But basically, Argentinian president launched a meme coin with a couple of techie dev guys, and the story gets dark and the story gets deadly. And this thing absolutely right. He fucked everybody that bought this thing, and insiders made money. So that was the summary of last night. And I mean, this is obviously how everybody is feeling at the moment that got involved. Okay, I'm sure anyone who's bought one of these rugs before feels like this dude. We've all seen this movie before. We've all felt this movie. And, now the lawyers are getting involved. They're talking about criminal charges and all these things against this guy. And then it's surfaced that one of the guys behind this thing was the same guy behind Melania. Okay, I mean, the plot is getting, look at him, he's shaking his head. He's in disbelief. The plot thickens, okay? It's getting messy out there. And if you want to follow this, bubble maps they've now tracked what is going on. So I'm not going to read this thread to you, but you can track their whole story here of how they connected the dots and how they put everything together there. And I see McLovin is saying Libra is just 2x. Guys, all I can suggest is be careful. I'm staying out of this, okay? I'm staying far away from this dog shit. It stinks, okay? Be careful. You're going to get rinsed there if you are not careful. Okay, then a simple story as to what is going down with Libra. So to simplify the story, many influencers sent large amounts of Libra for free in exchange for bull posting. They were asked not to share. They had received the tokens for free. 𝗫𝗏𝗨𝗧 was sent 6.5 million tokens. He's apparently sent them back. Okay, look at Gensler here at the bottom. Dave then chose to trade the token. Somehow he lost $5 million. He was then refunded for his losses by this guy. Okay, this guy involved. I think that's him, Hayden. Okay, he was refunded for that. And now the plot gets thicker and thicker. And here's a little interview, if you guys want to watch this, from 𝗫𝗏𝗨𝗧 talking to this Hayden guy at the moment, who's sitting on $100 million. Let's see quickly what he has to say.
I'm never claiming it's my money. I'm not running off with the money. I have no desire to run off with the money.
Whose money is it? That's what I don't. I think that's the question.
I don't know. It's definitely not my. It's Argentina's.
Argentina's.
What association you give with that? The point.
Okay. Well, guys, if you want to watch the interview, you can follow it there on 𝗫𝗏𝗨𝗧. Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen the movie Beetlejuice from the 80s or 90s?
I have.
You know the guy with the shrunken head?
Like
Does he not look like the guy with the tiny little head on a huge body? I saw a lot of comments online going, what the fuck happened to this guy's head?
It could be. But look, he's sitting on $100 million. It might be 100 million more.
That's not his.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And how do you give it back?
Exactly. Now he wants to give it back. He wants to pump the chart. The guys, it's just getting dirty out there.
Messy.
Follow, if you want to see the video, the full clip, 𝗫𝗏𝗨𝗧, he's talking about it. 𝗨𝗏𝗪𝒺𝒻. You know this guy, 𝗫𝗏𝗨𝗧. And he's interviewed the guy. Then Coin Bureau dropped an interview as well between 𝗏𝗙𝗪𝗔𝗐 interviewing this guy. And the plot gets thicker and thicker. I'm not going to bore you by playing you all these videos because we've got so much content for you guys today. But if you're interested in the drama, it's becoming an absolute soap opera here. You can follow Coin Bureau as well. You can listen to the interview. There were some shocking things said there in that interview as well between Hayden and 𝗏𝗙𝗪𝗔𝗐. So check it out as well. And then there's FTX news. Now, this is getting dwarfed by the Libra stuff and everything else going on at the moment. But there's big news with FTX. And tomorrow is the 18th of February, and that's the first distribution day for FTX repayments. $1.2 billion getting distributed. Now, they've explained what is going on. And the amount, he says, don't believe all the fake info from the big copy-paste KOLs. They're saying 28% didn't do the KYC. 33% are claim buyers who won't invest in crypto, leaving only $400 million of their original holders. So the amount isn't crazy, and not all of this 400 will flow back into crypto. Many likely lost faith after FTX. That is what he's speculating, lost faith after FTX. Well, fuck me, I did it. Okay, I still carried on degenning, and I would have thought, and I have said this before, a lot of the FTX guys, it was a brilliant trading platform. So if you were a bit of a degen trader and you were getting stuck in on FTX, it was an absolute banger, that platform, okay? And I think those guys are degens. And I think if they get their money back, they're going to put it back into crypto. That is just my opinion. What is your opinion, yes, sir?
Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree.
Degen's a degen. Degen's a degen. No? Take it out.
Market conditions.
Nah, they're not crazy enough then. They're not crazy enough. Okay, so basically what we thought was gazillions going into the market might be a little bit less. I still think there will be a little bit more action from FTX. Okay, so BTC, you've got your two big levels to watch today. That is what I'm paying attention to. Then in terms of the daily, 3 levels for you. This is all you need to know. Any spot traders, any low leverage guys, for Bitcoin, this is what you're looking at. 100K upside, that is your big level. And the next one is 95. That is going to be your support zone that you want to see hold. If we close under that 95, you most likely are visiting 91K. And that is basically going to be a wrap for BTC. I don't want to see much lower than 91. We know we've got a CME gap. I think it was 77K. We know we've got major horizontals at 72. So let's deal with this one step at a time. Right now, let's see if we can hold $94.95. That's going to be our first step. We want that daily close above. And if we can, well, then we live to see another day. Make Money, Travel, Enjoy says, I lived at the Verge when these FTX cars were parked there just before the collapse. Still got the picture. Are you bullish FTX? Are you still a degen there? Let us know. I know she's a bit of a degen. She loves trading a bit there.
She's actually getting reimbursed for Matic, I think, from the she's one of the claimants. She told us on the stage last night. Yeah, and getting it back at a year ago's prices, which she was quite happy with, actually. So
I think that's quite a win.
Winning. Yeah,
I think Matic at a year ago is probably a lot better than now. So that is quite a win. She's a hacker. Okay, you can talk to her in Chart Hackers. She's there. She's one of our degens. Okay, let's talk BTC dominance. This is very important. Matthew Highland is giving us some information here. He says dominance weekly close confirms bearish divergence and bearish engulfing candle. Remember, bearish divergence and bearish dominance is actually a good thing for altcoins. So he's just planting that seed on the weekly. So that's normally a good start to things. Then we've got Rec Capital telling us that Bitcoin dominance is potentially going to go to 71% because historically, every time it broke into the 58 to 71% macro range, it would revisit the 71%. It's happened 3 out of 3, 100% hit rate for dominance hitting 71% under similar conditions. Is this time different? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. Are there way too many tokens now in the market? Is it gonna stop Bitcoin from doing that? I can tell you, as somebody who loves these altcoins, I really hope we're not going to 71% because it's going to get disgusting. I mean, Popcat, it's going to be free. They're literally going to give it to us. Yeah. They're going to hand us bags of Popcat. Okay, it's going to be disgusting. So that is not something we want to see. Let's take a look at my quick daily chart here and see what we are looking at. So here is dominance on the daily, and obviously we watching shorter time frames, and we obviously got degens watching 15-minute dominance. But I thought for the show we could pay attention to the daily dominance, and what I've got at the moment for you guys is dominance slowly just tracking lower, and what we want to see ultimately is this move into 59.8. That is where I expect a hard bounce for dominance, and that is where I expect a little bit of rinsage on the alt. So if we do keep bleeding lower, again, it's not nice at the moment. We've got a little bit of red candles now after a nice green morning, but you can see this dominance is still sitting well under daily resistance, under the 61% zone. If we can close under there, make our way down, that is where I think we're going to get action. 59.8. That is where we're going to feel a little bit more pain on the altcoins. Now, you can see we're keeping it super simple. We're just watching a rising trend. We're tying it in with horizontals. We got some backup on our 50-day MA. So we're just watching these simple little levels here. And that is what we're going to pay attention to if the alts continue to be a little bit greener. And hopefully it's going to be backed up by the existing ETH strength. Now, I am dropping a poll at the moment, and I want to see what you guys are saying on my poll here. I dropped that at the start of the stream, and I said, Solana, what? Okay, now what? Buy the FUD, 68%, or buy the FUD, or buy Sol. So 32% are bearish on Sol, 62% say buy the FUD. I must say, I agree. I think it's unfair what is going on with Sol, and I'm going to unlock all of the story behind it and everything, and you guys can decide for yourself. Then I'm going to give you the levels on Sol. But in terms of spot bags and in terms of DCAing and things like that, I would say weakness on Sol makes sense. If you get the opportunity, it does actually make sense to me. So I'm part of the 68% there that are saying buy the FUD, not buy Sol. So that is my current stance there. And then in terms of our total 3 chart, guys, remember we watch this because this is a representation of our altcoins, and we can see total 3 at the moment still looking bearish for us, and we are now sitting at that rejection band, our daily resistance band. You can see we're rejecting off the 100-day and trend zone. So this is potentially going to move lower as long as we understand that that is a possibility. Starve, bro. Why are you sending us to 155? There were guys in the comments saying they can't believe that I'm going to FUD Sol again. And I'm not even FUDding it as bad as you, bro. You're sending us to 155. Oh, shizzle. 120s, bro. No. Somebody give me 80. Somebody give me 85. Okay, are we going to get 85? Give me 85 there. I feel like we're doing an auction here. We're bidding for lows on Sol. But 120s, bro, it's filth. Okay. So total 3, you can see we are in a bearish situation here. We cannot turn super bullish on altcoins until we start breaking, in my opinion, these highs and getting support above that 50-day moving average. So I want to see 970 hold and 970 broken. And looking at this chart, it's a hell of a long way away right now. I mean, it's 7% on the total 3 chart. So you can imagine what that's going to do to a couple of these alts. So very long way to go. And Trey's sending us to 40 cents, bro. That's the winning bid. Maybe we get sold at $8 again. You never know. Okay, so guys, just to summarize here, dominance, we want to keep dominance pushing lower. We can see total 3 is sitting under a resistance band. What I'm seeing at the moment, if dominance does drop onto that support, we're looking for total 3 just to push into that resistance band. Then we figure it out from there. But that is essentially going to be a TP zone for us on a lot of these altcoins. If anybody is still long, if anybody's not been chopped up enough. And I see, what's this 4% Libra candle? You know, it's disgusting. Stay away. I don't even want to look at that chart. It's stuff. Okay, Alex Becker. Now, this is where all the FUD got reversed. Now, Alex Becker says, I'm fully out of Sol. All in on ETH and fuck my life Cardano. I mean, can you get a bigger insult to say that you're going all in on ETH and then Cardano? That is offensive to me at the moment. So he's part of the FUD, and there's lots of people online talking about how shit Sol is. Now, we've seen this story before. Have we not seen this story before?
I've seen the story before.
Have we seen the story before?
Sure.
I'm glad I've got my loyal partners here giving me some support. Okay, so Alex Becker's all out of Sol. Okay, then I posted this today. This is interesting. This is me saying, should we be getting ahead of ourselves just because we've had a tiny ETH candle into resistance? Okay, so this is what I dropped today. I said on the last 2 occasions that ETH printed a bullish reversal on the 5-day oscillator. I'm going to show you that chart in a second. We saw 60 days and 80 days of sideways action before there was a big move. Okay, I dropped this on Twitter. Follow me at the Lord of Entry on Twitter. And that is what I was watching earlier today. And here's the chart. So just to see what happened, I was just curious as to when we get a 5-day reversal print, what actually happens. And if you look down the left-hand side here, that's full. Okay, so we got the reversal print. Then they chopped us up for 60 days before they sent it up. Then the next time we saw that, look at this, we had that reversal print in August after those dumps, and they chopped us up for 85 days before they sent us up. Is this time different? That is the question I'm asking. I don't actually have the answer for you, okay? Because the market is not behaving like we were hoping it was. It doesn't even feel like a bull market. I mean, it was a bull market for a couple of weeks, and then they absolutely rinsed us again. We had the Trump pump, and now it's just pain and suffering at the moment. Jason's trying to sell the hamster, bro. Are we selling the hamster at 2-1 for ETH? Do we concur? Are we agreed here at 2-1? So that is my... I just want to give you that information. If it does chop for 60 days, where does that take us? It takes us March, April. It takes us to the end of April, and we could easily see that still play out for us on ETH. So I don't want to get overly bullish on ETH until we start reclaiming, like I've said every show for the last 3 weeks, until we reclaim 2.8 to 2.9. When we have support above that region, that is where we can start maybe flexing our muscles a bit and getting a little bit more bullish on things. But right now, you know, resistance here for me on ETH, this is the top of the range. The bottom of the range is 2,100. Could be chop in between. I'd love to be wrong, okay? But they could be chop in between for 60 to 80 days. It's on the table for us. And if you track this downtrend, you can see if we slowly just gradually make our way to that downtrend, that's probably 40 days, give or take, before we get a decision point there on ETH. So I just want to drop that source there for you guys. Then in terms of the current ETH situation on the 4-hour chart, so look, it was fun while it lasted. I mean, it was lovely. We had a beautiful ETH pump. Everybody woke up. They said, Sol is dead, ETH is back, and it's all about ETH now and everything. And look at this, okay? We've got immediate rejection now on ETH, and they actually front ran the 2,900 200-day MA, but you can see they rejected us at 2,850. So we've been saying that is always going to be some kind of rejection zone between 2.8 and 2.9. We finally have rejected there. Was that a stop hunt? Was that a little clean out now before they send us down? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. So what do I have for you in terms of, you know, trying to remain bullish on ETH? Well, number one, we can take a look at our oscillator, and our oscillator on the 4-hour is actually printing a start of a reversal at the moment. The last time we got that reversal, we did get downside on ETH. So that is a warning bell for me that we might be a little bit weaker. Then we want to look at ETH, say, on the 12-hour time frame. Let's take a look here and just get a picture as to what is going on. So this 12-hour is pushing up at the moment. So it looked like it could be a little bit more hungry there. Let's look at the daily. In fact, I'd love to hear Chaos's opinion here. I'm banging out all these indicators, but he's my indicator man. Okay, so do you have ETH? Do you have some ETH action there?
Not yet. I'll grab it for you now.
Grab it immediately, sir. Okay, so Chaos is going to give us, he's going to give us his indicator time frame opinion as to where he sees ETH at the moment. So we know a lot of these altcoins, and we'll go through a couple today. But what I've noted today for hackers, every Monday on Chart Hackers, I update all my higher time frame tokens. We look at the daily time frame on a lot of tokens, probably 25 to 30 that I update there every Monday. And what I did spot was 3-day and 5 days are getting bullish reversals. Some of them are closer to the weekly reversals, but a 3 or 5 day reversal could take absolute weeks before it starts playing out. So the stuff is on the table. Reed says Sol is nothing about meme coin trade. It's nothing without meme coin trading. Yeah, I concur. It was like ETH was nothing without NFTs. And what is bringing ETH back, I suppose, is the question. Okay, can you zoom into this thing? What is going on? Is this ETH? What's the time frame here?
Add me to the stage first. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all good, man. That's all good. So obviously, I'm just showing you guys where we've come from. We are technically, apart from this disgusting wick, down to 21, which was horrendous. Obviously, we're still kind of in some sort of uptrend potentially. It doesn't really feel like it with what's going on here. That being said, we've had our cash flow to the downside. It's flown out. We've had our cash flow to the upside. It's carried on flowing out. And now what we've got is we've got cash reducing again. And we've got the trend line very close. And I guess we're going to keep flowing out. So I'm sure we're going to see this again down at the very least. I mean, what's that? 2.5. Okay. So it's not off the... I mean, if
so you're
nothing...
not bullish on ETH, but like...
I'll be honest, I'm not overly bullish on anything today.
Okay. Okay, so ETH is not looking as exciting. And look, it makes sense. Guys, we're sitting at, whenever you're in doubt, just zoom out. Look at this. We've got major resistance ahead of us. It's major resistance because for a reason. We've got multiple 5-day support candles here. I've got a 382. I've got a 200-day MA. It would be very strange if it just blows through on the first tap. So we've had our first rejection here. You know my concern. We might get 60 days of chop here on ETH, and we need to be careful. So you can keep it as simple as that. Chaos is saying he's not super bullish based on what he's seeing. All I've got, and I'm sure Chaos has noticed as well, is 3-day and 5-day. On a lot of these altcoins look like it wants to reverse, but what does it mean on a 3 or 5 day from a timing perspective realistically? What can we get out of that?
We need to zoom down. We really do. Not enough. I mean, I'm on the 2-hour time frame now. It's giving reversal signals everywhere. Everything's starting to turn at the top and face down. I just see this trend line, 3 and 5 day.
Okay. So Chaos is not, he's not a happy chappy. Okay.
Nah.
He's sending ETH to 2.5. And, you know, I'm still running this ETH trade. My intention was to build an ETH position. So I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. My intention was buying at 2.6, buying at 2.5, buying at 2.4. And if we need to, we're going to add down to 2.1. Now, it's going to be pretty horrendous if ETH starts closing under $2,100. So I'm not planning for that. What I'm planning is building a nice sized ETH position on any weakness and making the assumption that we're going to get that wick fill at some point. Okay, so my ETH play, no changes here. You can see I'm building this position in WeX at the moment. It's only, it's 13,800. We want to get this thing to quite big if we do get some more weakness. So I'm not trying to rush into it and start adding every time we get a pump. I want to buy this thing on weakness and try and build a position with the assumption that 2,100 is going to hold. So DGen Zen likes Sol going to 120 and Toilet Humor at the same time. Okay, I see there's so many people sending Sol to 120. Okay, so guys, that is my plan on ETH. Now, we saw ETH waking up a little bit today, and I did cover a bit of Pepe in Chart Hackers, Pepe, and I just want to highlight for you guys, if you've been watching my show for probably 2 weeks, I gave this trade ages ago, and it is starting to finally get some momentum it deserves. Now, in terms of Pepe, we can see we've got major support in play at 915. So anybody still looking at this Pepe play, 915 is our bigger picture support that we're going to be watching now after a nice aggressive move. And this is just an example for you. We see so many altcoins at the moment printing 3-day reversals. So that is a good start for us. And that tells me that ideally, in a perfect world, if we do get a sell-off, we're going to hold those lows. So that 3-day reversal is giving me that inclination to say that we're going to hold those lows. Obviously, I could be absolutely wrong and get absolutely rinsed on that strategy, but that is what I'm looking at the moment there. So Pepe played out nicely. I gave that trade this morning in Chart Hackers. So we had a nice little short play here. This is my section in Chart Hackers. For those of you that don't know what goes on in here, this was a little, there's the BNB short from, when was that? Yesterday. And here's the Pepe long that I gave this morning. I just explained where I was exiting, that I was going long on Pepe. Then I give you a sort of running commentary here in Hackers as to what is happening. And that trade finished nicely. We hit our TP. Look at that. Bang. Straight into our zone. And nice little Pepe trade there for Chart Hackers. So obviously, guys, you can get a piece of this action by being in Chart Hackers. So you can join with the link in the description, and you're going to get all that information there from us. And then if you want to see what else happens in here, you can see we've got a trading zone where we got our scalper team in there. We got Jay and Panda absolutely tearing shit up in there at the moment. And there's a hive of activity here. So if you guys are into scalping, you can find our boys in there giving you setups all day. There's Jay there he dropped a short there. And you can see there's tons of action here. Then obviously all our channels are here down the side. So if you're interested in a bit of Chart Hackers, that is what is going down in there for you guys. And Chaos is there. He's got his own channel, and he dropped a little banger the other day, in fact, in low cap gems. Now we are essentially a trading hub, but we do have a couple of experts in there with low cap gems and things like that. And you dropped a banger here, this Infino at 600k market cap. What is it now?
Yeah, we're now just over 2.25 million, which is
So how many X's?
nothing for what this does.
4 X's, 5 X's.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Easy. Good week for that. Beats losing on the market all the time, doesn't it?
Okay, there you go. 3x almost. When was this? That was today. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot going on there. This Infino is doing well. What's the deal here? Are we up? We down? What do we do?
Well, they are talking about, listen, from what I can gather, we've been scouring Mexi for these low caps, right? And this particular one, there's apparently some announcements coming. What's so good about this is that you can basically send your crypto and you can spend it on a card, which is really, really cool. There's a payment gateway, there are Visa debit cards, there's staking, shares, commodities, Forex. There's so much coming to this. And I think we're really, really early. I mean, look at the chart, it's just 2.2 million.
Yeah, look, it's early, guys. Obviously, with these low caps, just be careful. But yeah, if you want some inside source, well, Chaos dropped it a couple of days ago. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Infino, nice one, good call. Okay, let's talk Pepe just to wrap up Pepe. Now, remember, if ETH and things start moving, what you typically want to do, even if it's a short-term move, is you want to look at Pepe. You want to look at Lido. You want to look at a couple of other ETH plays. What's another one? ENA could be one. ENS, Optimism. Dare we say fucking Matic? No. Okay, so just to summarize, or just to finish up on Pepe, guys, if anybody is interested as to where we are, this is going to be guided now by what ETH does next. So when ETH eventually puts the brakes on, we're going to have to see where Pepe is. But you can see just by pulling a fib from the lows to the highs here, you can see I do have quite a lot of banger support round about this 978 region down to about 966. So that is still a bounce zone of interest here for us. That was a hell of a sell-off. So I would expect at some point that they do come back and clean out some of that wick even before they send it lower. So in terms of Pepe support, you're looking at this anywhere from, say, this 9.7 zone down to this 9.66, somewhere in that region looks like support that you can use. And this could, it could potentially materialize into one of these squeezy setups that I love, where we eventually get these pops. But just for today's trade, it was just a short move, bang, into that resistance zone, keeping it short and sweet and simple there on Pepe. Now, let's talk Lido. Dare I talk about an E-strength token after that rejection? Chaos, are you looking at Lido?
I've got Lido open, yes.
Okay, now guys, after we've done Lido, we're going to jump into the Sol situation. I got so much news and shit on Sol. We're going to look at these levels, and we're going to deal with dupe, because there's actually dupe FUD at the moment that we got to actually cover. So let's see what Chaos has here.
So very simply with Lido on the 1 hour, and this is quite similar across multiple time frames, what I've done is I've just put on the Keltner channels just to kind of show you guys how price action generally bounces from channel to channel. It's just how the Keltners work. Earlier on today when I was putting the charts out, it was about 2-3 hours ago for the show, we were literally up here, and I'm like, this is literally going to come from here. We're going to hit this trend. We've got like a rising trend aside from when we lost it and reclaimed. And what I'm actually expecting based on the oscillator down below, which I'll just show you real quick. Obviously RSI is coming down. What I'd expect to do is expect to round off at the bottom, and I'd hope that that actually would line up somewhere with the bottom of this and actually keep hold of the channel. I mean, we could do that again, of course, like back here, but I'd like to think that we actually get some sort of reaction here and then a move up again. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens. But for me, obviously earlier on when I was charting around this was definitely a short. The shorts played out nicely. We're kind of down to 18, you know, down to near the neutral line. So we're making our way down. As long as we can kind of reclaim this region, I'd like to see a reaction here. You know, we've got the quantum reactor, which is bullish as well.
Where do we enter along? That's the question.
Realistically,
want to know. Where are we long? Are we long?
Well, we will be long. We're not yet. We were short at 194. We're looking to take profit from that at 180, 181, give or take. And then what I want to see is I want to see this bottomed, assuming that this has bottomed out and made its turn, and we've got something along the lines of this taking place where we start to make our way back. Then realistically, I would be targeting this move here. Whether we go 14% up, we'll wait and see. So that would be an entry around 180 to 182 and a TP around $2.07. And it's an easy stop loss at this point. You'd be down just below this wick at 178. So not too bad. You probably want to use low leverage.
Okay, so you got that summary. That chart is going to go straight into Chart Hackers as well after the show. And don't you love it when British people say bottom? It sounds so smart. It really sounds smart. Okay, let's go. Let's talk Sol. Let's get into the Sol situation. And look, if we've got time, we're going to cover Cardano because we know Alex Becker now is all over. Where's he? He's all over Cardano. So if we've got time, we're going to cover ADA. And maybe it is time to bring in the ADA girls. That could be fun as well. And Dr. Assad says, how do I get these indicators? Well, the simplest way you can do that, sir, is to do my accelerator course. So it's as simple as signing up to my accelerator course in the show description. I teach you guys the basics of TA that you see on my show every day, and I tie it into all those fancy indicators and oscillators that you are seeing on your screen. You can go. So take a look there. Bang, there's my accelerator course. My next masterclass is in 6 days. Very short course. You will be trading in 10 days. I can tell you that now. And everything that I talk about in the show, you just go under the show description and there it is for you guys. You can follow me on X at the top. There's my accelerator second from the top for you guys. And all these exchanges and all these things with these deals for you guys, it's all sitting there. There's a full shopping list for you guys to take advantage of. Okay, let's get into Sol. Now, Chaos, are you hanging? You happy to hang around? Okay, yeah, hang around. Okay, he's hanging around. Ben Cowan, he started this for me the other day, and I dropped a head and shoulders chart on my show, and I said once I saw this tweet from Ben Cowan, I actually started like having sleepless nights on Solana, and he basically said to us that Sol BTC was in distribution, and it was almost time to repeat what ETH BTC did. Now, this is the ETH BTC chart that he dropped, and if we take a look at the situation here, it was downhill from there. And now the Sol BTC chart looks very similar. So a little bit bearish tee up there from Ben Cowan not too long ago. Then there's so much FUD going on at the moment. It feels like everybody on Twitter now is just FUDding Sol and they're jumping onto this unlock and all this drama at the moment. And it's important that you guys know what is going on. But I think fundamentally, and this is like, remember, I'm a degen leverage trader. Okay, so I'm not the most highly qualified fundamentals man, but if you ask me, fuck it, a weak Sol makes sense to own this thing. Sol has gone through way worse and way worse drama over the years, and it always seems to come back. So in terms of that, my limited fundamental skill set, for me, I like Sol. I don't know. You like Sol at 120?
I preferred Sol at 8 to 12, but yeah, sure.
Okay, so yes, James.
Honestly, I don't think these guys are going to sell a lot. They could sell some, right? I saw that they bought this stuff at these crazy prices, but if they believe in the project, they bought this much of it, they're going to hold it based on ETFs coming out, this, that. This isn't some retail flipper that just is, you know, doing a scalp or something. These guys are going to hold this, waiting for that appreciation.
They're looking for the bigger moves. Yeah.
So it might be a little sell pressure, but not this huge FUD that's everywhere.
Yeah, I don't want to panic out of stuff just because, you know, there's a little bit of FUD floating around. But anyway, you got to know what is going on out there. So in-depth look at the FTX estate unlock on March the 1st. Now, there's a couple of unlocks from guys like Galaxy, Pantera, and Figure. And they're big numbers. Okay, now these guys they got sold pretty cheap. And now this unlock is applicable for these guys, and there's potentially some sell pressure here. This is the unlock schedule. February is the biggest one yet. Then March triples February's unlock with 2.5 billion of cheaply purchased SOL finally available to sell. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to sell. It just says it's available to sell. Now, I would assume that when they took on the risk of getting the deal for SOL, they probably had, a couple of deals where they said, look, if we 2x or we 3x, we're selling X, Y, and Z. So I would, by no doubt, assume that they are selling a bit of this, but they may not sell all of it. But these guys made profit. And at the end of the day, these guys want to make money, and that's how you make money. You buy it cheap and you sell it high. So there is, like James says, a bit of sell pressure coming. And then there's a lot of other FUD at the moment. Now, we don't know if this is true or not, but it's Dave Cardano, Dave ADA. So let's just assume that his allegiances lie elsewhere. Okay, so he's not really a SOL person, but he says a staggering 95% of all SOL's Meteora transactions in the last 77 days, 139 million transactions in total, 8 million succeeded, 131 million failed. Fuck, guys. They're just fudding the shit out of this thing. But again, I'm not a fundamental guy. I don't understand the technical side of this stuff. But for me, it just smells like bullshit again. And then this was just interesting. And you can try and track the top of SOL every single time. If you want to follow, this guy's comment, but you can follow the DeFi Llama on-chain data here. Patrick called the last SOL local top perfectly 2 weeks ago using DeFi Llama on-chain data. He found that every time the app revenue, the purple, spiked, it was a local top for SOL, the price in yellow. And 2 weeks ago, it was spiking again. Sure enough, it was another local top. So if you guys want to learn something new, you can follow this guy, Patrick, Dynamo Patrick, and he might give you a couple of insights there onto when there's tops, other than using the charts, for example. And only failed transactions were probably for Libra. Yeah, that is a possibility. And then Chris says, once again, it appears to be people capitulating on everything season. As a long-term investor, you make your future bread during periods like this. And Daniel Chweng says, people are capitulating on SOL. This is undoubtedly still the leading chain, the cycle, and think SOL ETF comes much sooner than people expect. Now, doesn't this tee up perfectly for everyone to get bearish, the big boys to get their SOL, and then to send the price up?
Completely.
Okay.
Completely.
So in summary,
how many times?
Okay. In summary, not super bearish on SOL. Maybe short-term price action might go down. We got guys in the chats talking 120. It's not off the table. It is possible. If the market shits the bed, SOL's going to 120. But do I believe that SOL is going to recover? Yes. It's at the end for SOL. Absolutely not. Okay. That is my limited opinion from a degen leverage trader, and I think we're okay. And Ferdy says SOL is too big to go to zero. Now, short-term traders, guys that are sweating bullets, let's look at a couple of things. So this is SOL versus ETH. Now, this is the first thing we want to point out. Remember the two big guns we like to watch, ETH and Solana. And I pay a shit ton of attention to those two. And you can see ETH has been lagging for so long. But in the current market conditions, we have noticed over the last 2 or 3 weeks that SOL has been bleeding out and ETH has been so flat, especially on the 4-hour chart. Look at that. Look how flat ETH has been relative to the Solana chart, which I'm going to show you in a second. So ETH, SOL versus ETH at the moment, it is showing weakness. And for me, it looks like ETH should outperform SOL at least until we get into this 55 region. So I'm now waiting for SOL versus ETH to drop into 0.55. This is just a major weekly zone that we're going to pay attention to. So if there is more weakness in that, I would say look out, because there's going to be a mega bounce versus ETH at the 0.55 region, which is what I'm going to be watching very closely there. So if anybody is now flipped into ETH, or if you've been sitting in ETH for the last while waiting for some kind of move, now you're reaping those benefits. When we get to 0.55, 0.55, that is probably where you want to start laddering out and moving back into SOL for a potential SOL bounce versus Ethereum. And you can see my oscillator as well printing reversals here. Look at that, sending us a little bit lower down there, and that could put that pressure on to that 0.55 level that you're going to be watching. Okay, so it's as simple as that. And Abe says, if SOL goes back to 120, I'm going to have to get my day job back. Well, let's actually check how McDonald's is doing here, because we can track stocks now. Oh, remember, the market is closed, so we can't see, but there's Mackie D's there floating around. We like to see, I have noticed on red days in the crypto market, this McDonald's is fucking green every time. It's quite horrible to watch, but luckily, today it's closed. Okay, so let's talk SOL. What is going on now? So we've got so much FUD. So in terms of my big zone that we wanted to hit, that was it. Okay, it was the 200-day MA, but now there's too much pain. There's too much FUD out there with the Libra situation. We got everyone fudding the shit out of it. We got Alex Becker saying he's done with SOL. That guy's got a massive community. Imagine all the people with size of communities following them, and they say, no, they're done now. They're done with SOL. They're moving back to ETH. Okay, so this is run-of-the-mill action, and you can see SOL is going to feel a little bit of weakness now. So the other day, what I was talking about when I saw that Ben Cowan tweet with regards to SOL versus BTC and ETH versus BTC, it brings me back to this situation where we highlighted that, as ugly as it seems, this was on the table for us, but we never got that right shoulder. We never got that push for that rejection on SOL for this bearish head and shoulders. And now they actually just dumping this thing lower. So in terms of levels, what I'm going to say here is, guys, be careful at the moment with leverage, trying to trade SOL and trying to catch the bottom, because we are dealing with panic in the market. Everyone's reading about the unlocks. Everybody is over panicking now. So they're going to be exiting their positions. And then you're going to see when these unlocks start flowing through, SOL's going to have some kind of massive bounce. Okay, that is pretty much what is going to play out here, in my opinion. And right now you can see SOL is moving into a couple of levels, but I would be super, super cautious on these levels, guys. Again, we've got outside forces here. So in terms of the daily, what you can look out for, things you can watch, we can look for some kind of divergence here. So if we do print a higher low on this daily oscillator, that could be interesting if we start dipping into some lower low territory here on Solana. So levels to watch, 175. 168. Let's look for reactions there on those zones. Now, just be careful. Okay, there's outside forces here now on SOL at the moment, so we just got to be careful. So it's 175, 168. You can dial in here on lower time frames and try and catch some kind of reaction there. You want to just see how it reacts at those levels. These are typical zones where you will get some kind of short-term move or some kind of short-term result. So in terms of short-term stuff, you can see our 2-hour oscillator is heavily bottoming out here. It is getting oversold. So at some point, this 2-hour is going to want to grind higher, and that could typically be on either 175 or 168. So watch out on those levels. That is pretty much where there's going to be some action. Yes, sir.
Man, fart is sharding like nobody's business. Holy shit. It was a new low yesterday.
We'll look at it now. Okay, so let me just finish. This thing's shorting. Okay, so guys, just finishing on SOL. Okay, let's just go back to the daily here and just give you a perspective. Now, obviously, like you've seen in the chats, the guys are panicking. There's a lot of stress out there, and you got to take note of these levels. We can't fight the market. We can't decide, oh no, well, it's got to go up because we right, and we're not, we don't believe in the FUD and all these things. What you got to do is just be very strategic on the levels you watch, and you can see there's some very simple zones that you can play with on Solana, and you can just highlight them simply like that. And if you're a DCAer and you're doing things like that, these are alternate levels where you might be able to get some limit orders in if there is some kind of market shits the bed situation. And that next one is going to be 160. Now we're talking, I know the guys in the chats are talking 120. And yes, we can't say it's not on the table, because that's a beautiful cluster down there at the bottom. Look at that. We'll come and fill those wicks. It could be the most beautiful thing here. We can even fill that wick there to the downside. So what I would suggest here is play it step by step. If you guys are panicking, step by step, level by level. Don't overdo it, especially the leverage guys. Just you can play those areas. There will be bounces up and down in between all of that stuff, but just keep it real. Don't over leverage here on things like that. So those are your main levels. This chart is going to be in hackers, and Ivan says he needs an extra monitor below his desk to track Farcoin. Fuck me, guys. That's going to be bad. Okay, now there is FUD on Dupe. So Jupiter's actually got a little bit of, there's a little bit of speculation around that they knew that this Libra was getting launched, and the guys are now speculating that they knew there was going to be a bit of a problem. Look at Chaos. He's nodding his head. He concurs. Yeah. So it's not a good start, because I was quite fancying a Dupe trade, a Dupe long trade. And now I'm in the position I've got to start cutting my position, because we got Sol FUD, we got weakness. We know if Sol's outperforming, if Sol's performing well, Dupe performs well. But if Sol's falling over, Dupe is going to struggle. Then if you add this FUD to Dupe, it's a little bit of a concern for me. Okay, so we're going to look at the Dupe levels. We're going to talk through these things. But again, another moment where we might just need to be cautious here. Let's not ape when there's this type of news floating around. So Dupe actually released a statement on Libra, and they're saying they've always placed a massive premium on transparency. The meme coin launches a dirty game with plenty of ugly behavior. They have nothing to hide. So here are the facts, and they've given us facts about the situation. They knew there was a meme coin coming, but they're basically saying they had nothing to do with all the fun and games in between. So if you want to read their statement, I think it was dangerous or bad enough that they had to release a statement. So that is not a good start. And then in terms of Dupe levels, well, look, it's not looking great. Okay, it's looking a little bit messy here. And just for me personally, the levels that I'm tracking on Dupe at the moment are this current level here, this 0.804. You can see that if we get a close above there, we should be okay then. It's turning a little bit green now. Then a little bit lower down, 79 is your next one you're going to watch. That will be a typical wick fill over there. And then 77, that is going to be the next level. So these are the zones here where I expect some kind of reversal on Dupe, but it depends how bad and ugly things get with Sol. Now you can see my oscillator is trying to reverse here at the bottom at the moment, but there is a little bit of Sol pressure. Let's look at the 1 hour and see if we can identify some kind of reversal there. You see, I don't like the look of this. This cash flow is turning a little bit red. Chaos, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, I've got a different set of indicators up. If you're welcome to show my screen. I'm on the 4 hour right now. Let's see. Sure. No problem, bro. So listen, at this point in time, we are currently sitting in this order block, which was left behind from the orders that we've picked up here. If we lose this, well, listen, I mean, look, at this point, cash has flowed in, okay, which resulted in this move. Cash has peaked, cash has flowed out, which has resulted in this dip. What we're actually seeing right now, which is the biggest concern, is it's just turned red. And obviously, if we look back at when it just turned red here, it gave us a big further dip, came up and then dipped more. So, you know, potentially from this point here where it just turned, which is this candle, to the peak, there's still another dip. And that is potential then to get us back into this zone, which is around 70 cents, where we've been before. So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to be tapping into all this liquidity again, if I'm honest. So, not ideal.
Okay. So yeah, so guys, I think there's Farcoin shitting the bed.
I've just seen
it. Bring that up. Fuck me, guys. Okay, we're gonna look at Farcoin on a higher time frame for you guys as well. Yeah, I think be careful with Sol stuff at the moment. Now, again, I'm not fighting the situation. Yeah, you know my views on Sol. I think it's always going to come back. If you're trading high leverage and stuff like that, just be super careful. Watch those levels. Look for reactions. Small positions, guys. This is not the time to ape in big size. You can see there's FUD on things like Dupe at the moment. We are in a potential bounce zone. You can see that. We're in an order block. There might be a bounce. But if there isn't, you can see Chaos's next level there to the downside. So not pretty at the moment. Yes, sir. You keep posting Shizzle's Sol to 120. You really wanted to go to 120.
I just keep putting it up again. He's really convinced. No, this good thing too that Hayden Davis, the one who is responsible and all this shit, well, he's called on Jupiter, Radium, all of the exchanges to return any fees, any income they made from this whatsoever. So that's added to it too, right? He's kind of shaming them into, well, guys, you got to do something to help here too. You knew about this up front, and you made a ton of money off this. So that's adding to all this FUD too. This is so messy.
Okay, so guys, I mean, you get the gist of it. There's pressure there, so maybe it's time just to look at a couple of other trades until the market settles a little bit and we can see what is actually going to go on. So I might have to take the L. On this dupe long situation. Yeah, might have to start trimming this thing. We'll have to see. Those are the levels I'm watching. We'll have to be patient. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. Now, I wanted to cover a couple of AI agents. Now, this is obviously unrelated to the AI agents I'm going to talk about now in the show, but just interesting. CZ is trying to get involved now in the AI agent situation. He's tried the meme coins to suck some liquidity, and I think he did it successfully. BMD did fairly well, and now he's getting into the AI agent space, and they're going to start a little platform to start producing AI agents. So that is just interesting from that perspective. The liquidity wars continue. Okay, they're trying to get some more. And then Agent Cookie, which is also an AI agent here, says top 5 mindshare gainers in the last 6 hours. And that was that was late. That was middle of the day yesterday. So I think things have changed now a little bit, particularly Fartcoin, which isn't on this list. But he was talking about AI16Z, AI XBT as well. So those are looking interesting. And I wanted to talk about a couple of entry zones here for us. So here is AI16Z, and a little bit of pressure on this one at the moment. Chaos, I'm happy if you want to bring up one of your indicators here on AI16Z, because I think we might get some kind of action at around this 34 region here for us. So looking at a bleed out now at the moment, but you can see we're in a clear downtrend, and you can see a little bit of sell pressure on this guy at the moment, obviously related to the market at the moment. But in terms of a potential bounce zone, 34 is starting to make sense for me, and particularly on the 4 hour. You can see this 4 hour is trying to stabilize now at the bottom, and let's just see the 2 hour just to get a picture here and see what's going on. Yeah, so it's not great on the 2 hour. Chaos, do you have any insights here on this? There he's hiding. Sorry, I hit you.
Hey, I'm back. Yeah, it's amazing how quick we can pull these charts together. Right, AI16Z on the 3 hour, which is the first one I just jumped into. You're trying to find a bottom. Okay, well, we know what they say about fingers and bottoms. Anyway, we're obviously right in this order block right now.
I don't. Enlighten me. What do they say?
Ask James, he'll tell you. So obviously we've got this order block left over. We had a sell that played out. We've obviously had TP1 and then TP2 from the sell. We've obviously made our way down into this order block. Now, what's good about this is we had a big run down through the RSIs. Okay, we've had a big run down through the cash flow, right the way down to max, and obviously after max we should in theory start to come up, and if you zoom in, we are in fact starting to increase again. Okay, so that means that cash is flowing in. We're in the oversold region, which is down here, so it looks to me like we should still fill this block and collect these orders, okay, which would bring us down to 33 give or take. And then I'd like to start actually gaining some levels, make our way up through the order blocks and start doing that.
Okay, so there you go, guys. You've got 34 from me. You got 33 from Chaos. I think either one of those regions makes sense. Okay, so remember the rules with these AI agents. These are very volatile tokens. So a nice strategy on these things for me is to find a good zone, look for those reversals on the 2 hour or the 4 hour, and then start laddering into a super low leverage position, not a big size. Remember what we like. We like small position, big move on these things, and they often give you a 10 or 15% pump out of nowhere. But the secret is being greedy with your entry and waiting for the right zone. So you've got 34 from me, 33 from Chaos. So for me, somewhere in that region, looking to build a little low leverage position, not a stressful size position, small position, big move. That is the strategy there, and going to look for that to play out. So I'm going to put this chart in chart hackers for you guys as well. And then let's take a look at the next one was this AI XBT. And I've got a big level coming up. Fuck, these things are getting rinsed. Woo! Okay, so AI XBT, I want to give you guys a bounce zone. Okay, so here it is. For me, it's 1815, that region there. So anything from 1850 down to about 17 looks like a nice little reaction zone. AI XBT, okay, could be one. I mean, this is a proper sell-off. Let's just for fun quickly see the size of this move here. Let's just take a look here.
Your idea of fun, my friend, is very different to mine. Just want to say that.
It's only 79%. Okay, it's a little sneeze. Okay, little sneeze there. And Speeslet says, Red Monday, are we seeing a green week? Now, we like that idea. I love that idea of a bearish Monday and a green week. The problem is today, the US market's not open. So we might have to roll over that Monday to Tuesday. And who knows what Uncle Donald has in store over the next 24 hours from the traditional market. So maybe we could have a little bit more action tomorrow. And I think tomorrow should be our Monday, if we're going to call that, if we're going to gauge anything from it. So yeah, in theory, bearish Monday, green week, but might be different rules this time. AIXBT, we won't harp on this too long. 185 down to even 17, somewhere in that region for me. Looks like a reaction zone, looks like a bounce zone for anybody looking in that. And then in terms of ARC, this ARC, and this was Asset Dash. When was this? Earlier today, yesterday, late yesterday, they said ARC and Trump seeing positive flows amongst the whales and the larger cap coins. Now, look at ARC. This is the first region. Now, I wanted to actually pull in chaos on this one as well. So we're moving into a zone, and I'm tracking this 8 hour. It's actually moving a little bit faster than I hoped, this ARC. And do you have this one?
I'm getting it now. Is it, what chart do you have? Is it the back? What's the price of it now? Is it 20?
It's 206.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, cool. Just give me 1 minute.
So, you know, typically what I'm looking for, you can see we're moving into a band now. We've got our 786, which we know is generally a reactive area. Then we've got our daily levels as well dropping in the zone. So in terms of the 8 hour, I'm looking for something like that. I think we're pretty close to some kind of reversal on this arc. I'd love to see a little bit lower time frame from you. If you can, just knock something out there for me.
Sure, got it. Got it. Okay.
Everyone wants the bear horn, but it's called inverse bull, bro. Okay. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that was a good bullhorn as well. Yeah. Listen. Okay. This is a lot of these are looking really similar. Same thing again. Obviously for us, this is good. Cash flow was up. Cash flow is down. What we don't know yet is whether it comes up and then down more, and then up and then down more. Okay. So that we're not entirely sure that that's not going to happen. But at this point, we can say that we sort of looking to make a bottom. We're very much in the oversold territory. Very much. There are some reversal signs that we start to make our way up again. Again, same as the last one. I wouldn't be surprised to see mid 17s to 16s before getting a reaction. And then again, same thing, start to gain some levels.
Okay, 17 to 16. Okay,
so
that is, yeah, that's a little bit deeper. Yeah.
17.8 is the top of the block.
Okay, guys, 17 to 16. Chaos, remember, he's our indicator man, and he uses all types of indicators there in Chart Hackers. If you like what he's doing, you can come and you can follow his channel. He does all this shit all day long. He loves this stuff. He even does Zoom sessions on it. So you can find him in there. This chart will be ready for you guys and hackers. See, he's tracking order blocks there as well. He's tracking liquidity zones, and he's tracking a reversal using MDX algo there at the bottom. Okay,
and
so
imbalances as well.
And imbalance. I love it when the British guy says imbalance. Sounds so professional. Okay, so MDX algo reversal there at the bottom, potentially. You can also find that if you like that. There is a link in the show description there for you guys on MDX algo. Okay, so you can see ARC potential zone, you know, on what I'm looking at here, this current region, and then Chaos's zone lower down might give you a secondary bounce there as well. Let's cover the shitcoin. Okay, so what I see here, fartcoin. Okay, interesting playbook here today. So we had a zone, we had a nice move off the lows. Okay, we had a couple of moves here. This was earlier today. Beautiful pump. What did we hit? Horizontals, rejection zone. Okay, now we've dumped this thing. So what does this mean for us? This tells us on a lower time frame, we should get another short opportunity when it eventually pushes a little bit higher. So when fartcoin decides to consolidate and bump a little bit higher, you're going to look for a potential short opportunity on this thing at around about 413, 414, somewhere in that region should give you a short opportunity there on fartcoin. Now let's just zoom out on higher time frame and let's just try and pick up our big levels. Where can we get some kind of reaction? Let's see if we've got a weekly here on this thing. And Make Money, Travel, Enjoy is also, she's busy going long farts at the moment. So you can see that reaction zone, that yellow line is a weekly level. That one there that we've just hit, you can see we've got some weeklies there on that region. So that makes sense that we could get some kind of reaction there. Let's look at it on the 12 hour. I mean, it's not the worst. Okay, I mean, it's disgusting, but it's not the worst. Okay, I've seen worse than this on a level down there. So there is some divergence print on the 12 hour. You can see that cash flow looks terrible. And there was actually a tweet floating around. I don't know, I don't have it here, unfortunately, but it's basically they're saying farts run out of gas. It's all perp driven at the moment. But in terms of levels that you might want to look for a bounce, well, make money, travel, enjoy, pretty much nailed it. Look at this level here that she's picked up. So Fartcoin's dropped into that tight 12-hour level. You can see that sitting on the zone. So if this region gets lost, well, then it goes lower. I mean, then we're going much lower. Then we're talking things like 26, those type of areas there on Fartcoin. So right now, if you want to try and play a bounce, your close under 37 is going to be your exit. And if you do play a bounce here, just be careful to the upside. Okay, so we're looking for a bounce here. Look to the upside here, 41, 42. That's your potential short zone you're going to look at. Okay, so nice little reaction. And you can see on this chart here, reacting on a daily level. So that does make sense there for us that we do get some kind of move in that area. And what is the adjective for worse than disgusting? Disgustingest, I think.
Disgustingest, yeah.
Okay, guys, we're running out a bit of time, and I wanted to cover Rune, and I also wanted to cover the L-Bank comp. Now, it would have been nice under better conditions, but don't forget, the L-Bank competition, just for my community, is going live today. Okay, this might be an opportunity, obviously, to let things settle. Then we can find some absolute banging entries. So if you haven't entered the L-Bank competition, there is a link in the show description for you guys. Join us. I've got a separate channel in Hackers. The whole team is going to be dropping setups and things for you in the L-Bank competition channel in Hackers. You can see I've got this thing locked and loaded here, and let's just highlight it. Where's our thing? Oh, there it is, under signals. So there it is, the L-Bank comp. And we are ready to go. So we're going to start dropping some content in there for you guys, some trade setups and things like that to take part in the Dylan's community. It's the Lord of Entries trading comp. It's exclusive to the guys that watch the show. And don't forget, there's a 50% cash back bonus for you guys if you sign up to the link in the show description. So if you put in $500, they're going to give you 250 USDT to trade with as a bonus. If you put in $100, they're going to give you 50. If you put in 1,000, you do the math. They're going to give you 500. So that is all available for you guys at the link in the show description. It's all here for you. So take advantage. It's literally free money. And maybe after a red day like this, free money, it's not a bad thing. Okay, so let's get trading, and we'll see you in Chart Hackers. Chaos, thank you, sir.
Cheers, bro.
And Smarticus says, soul never dies. James, thank you. See you later. Okay, Soul, just be careful out there. You've got the levels. Those charts are going to be in Hackers. You know the big levels to watch. Degen traders, be careful on those levels. Look for reactions, play the oscillator reversals and things like that. And maybe it's time to just look at a couple of others that might outperform over the next while until the FUD settles. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Catch you guys later.